Have you ever felt just completely stuck? You're putting in all the work to change, to grow, to be a better leader, a better person, but you just keep running into the same old wall. It's this incredibly frustrating loop. We all think, if I just try harder, if I get more information, find the right technique, then I'll finally break through. But what if that entire approach is just wrong from the start?
Okay, so let's just dive right in with this quote because it's so raw and honest. This comes from a leader with over 30 years in ministry. I mean, just think about that. 3 decades of dedicated effort, trying every single tool in the spiritual toolbox, only to realize none of it was working. This isn't just a small bump in the road. This is a full-blown crisis in the very methods we're all told should work.
And his story is a really powerful one. I mean, this was a good man, a leader with the best intentions, who was desperate to change. He could see how his own emotional reactions were hurting his family, how they were impacting his work. He wasn't blind to the problem at all. In fact, he was painfully aware of it, which, only made the failure to change feel so much worse.
And just look at this list of things he tried. It's basically a greatest hits of classic spiritual advice, right? More scripture, more prayer, more silence. He even went out and got more accountability, did more inner healing work. He was doing everything you're supposed to do. And when you boil it all down, his core strategy was just try harder. And the result? Just this deep, profound sense of disillusionment.
And this is really the bottom line. When you've tried every strategy you know, when you've given it absolutely everything you've got, and you still come up short, it's so easy to think the problem isn't the method, it's you. He felt like a hopeless case, and maybe that's a place you've been too. It's that moment where you start to believe that real, deep, lasting change, well, it might just be impossible.
But then something clicked. He had this massive aha moment, a total game-changing insight. And it didn't come from theology, surprisingly. It came from neuroscience. It turns out his failure wasn't about a lack of effort or a lack of sincerity. He was simply trying to solve the right problem with the wrong part of his brain.
See, our brains have these 2 main processors, and they each have a totally different job. The left brain, that's our logical, problem-solving language center. It's where willpower lives. But the right brain, that's our relational hub. It's all about loving attachments, our emotional development, our identity, and our sense of belonging. It runs on a completely different fuel, joy. And here's the real kicker. Lasting character change, that's a right brain activity.
So this is the crucial point, right here. Our default formula for change is almost all left brain. We think that more information plus more willpower should equal transformation, but it doesn't. As this leader discovered the hard way, that equation just doesn't work. The true formula, the one that actually works, is right-brained. A secure identity plus a deep sense of belonging, that's what leads to real, lasting transformation.
So if that old fuel of willpower just isn't getting the job done, what's the high-octane stuff that actually powers this right-brained engine of change? Well, it turns out to be a few core relational ingredients that, honestly, most of us have completely overlooked.
There are 3 essential elements, and they all build on each other: joy, hesed, and group identity. Now, these aren't just, nice ideas. They're the relational nutrients that create the fertile soil where real growth can finally take root. They build the kind of relational capacity that willpower on its own could never, ever achieve.
So first up, we have to redefine joy. This is not about being happy or cheerful. The kind of joy that transforms us is this deep, settled feeling you get when you know someone is genuinely happy to be with you. It's like a relational energy. And this is the kind of joy the Bible talks about, that enabled Jesus to endure the cross. It wasn't the absence of pain, but the relational strength to move right through it.
Second is a word called hesed. It's this powerful Hebrew word, and it's kind of hard to translate directly. It means this steadfast, loyal, covenant kind of love. The definition here just nails it. When the person from whom you have a right to expect nothing gives you everything. It's this unearned, secure love that says, I am with you no matter what. This is the relational glue that holds us together when everything else is falling apart.
And third, group identity. We're profoundly social creatures.
lasting change almost never happens in a vacuum. Our character is literally shaped by the community we belong to, our tribe. When we find a group of my people, people who model the kind of person we want to become, our own identity starts to shift to align with them. Who we love, it truly shapes who we become.
Now, getting a handle on this doesn't just change how we approach our own personal growth. It completely flips our model of leadership inside out. Because if transformation is a right-brain relational process, then leadership can't just be about dishing out left-brain information and strategy anymore.
And this quote from Coach Tony Stoltzfus really gets to the heart of this new model. The goal of leadership shifts from giving people answers to helping them discover their own. It moves away from instruction and toward empowerment. And the most powerful tool for this kind of leadership? It isn't a statement, it's a question. This chart just illustrates the difference perfectly. The old model is the mentor, the expert who gives you the fish. They give you answers, they give you advice, and that can often create dependency. The new model is the coach, the one who teaches you how to fish. They ask powerful questions, they help draw out what's already inside you, and they build your capacity and your sense of ownership. They're all about fostering discovery, not just transferring information.
This relational approach also opens the door to a really profound leadership skill, the ability to metabolize pain. So instead of reacting defensively when there's conflict or shame in a group, a relationally mature leader can actually absorb that pain. And, kind of like a biological process, they transform it into something life-giving, like forgiveness or understanding or healing. It's basically taking a hit for the team and turning it into a win.
So what happens when this kind of inside-out, relationally fueled transformation really takes root? Well, it doesn't stay small. It creates a ripple effect that can scale from a single person to touch an entire society.
And you can see that ripple effect right here. It starts with just one person, the anthropos, who goes through this change. But that one healed person, well, they transform their own household, their oikos. And when enough families get healthier, they form stronger communities, the koinos. And those communities start to change the actual culture and values of their city, the polis. And that's the path, person by person, family by family, to actually transforming the entire character of a nation, the ethne.
And that leaves us with this final, really powerful thought to wrestle with. We have spent our lives believing that the engine of transformation runs on grit and willpower and effort. But what if we've been using the wrong fuel this whole time? What if the most powerful, the most sustainable, and the most transformative fuel for change isn't trying harder, but is instead the profound relational joy of knowing that you truly, finally belong?